a very beautiful language, and you should take it, and we should preserve this ancient language.
I had no idea how complex the language was or how hooked I would get on studying it. I'm about halfway through my second year and have no plans on stopping anytime soon.
Studying Sanskrit at UW has opened a whole library full of possibilities for me.
Sanskrit's actually been taught at UW for over 100 years, and it's long been one of the world-renowned centers for Sanskrit studies. For about the last 35 years, it's also been a center for the study of Buddhist texts in Sanskrit and the related languages Pali and Gandhari, all three of which you can study here still today. We offer Sanskrit at all levels, from beginner all the way through advanced, and we have both a major and a minor in South Asian languages. We also now offer a course called Essential Sanskrit for Yoga and Meditation. And it's a 3-credit course. It's a kind of soft introduction to the language where we learn the script, pronunciation, and some basic grammar. And at the same time, we read Sanskrit texts in translation that emphasize the practice of yoga or Buddhist meditation. For first-year Sanskrit, we really emphasize grasping Sanskrit grammar, and we do that throughout the full first year. And Sanskrit grammar is really like a big puzzle. And every week we hand you a few more puzzle pieces, and as you lay them down, the picture of the Sanskrit language really starts to emerge. And what I found is that first-year students really like that experience of deciphering a text for the first time and having that meaning emerge from what was once a puzzle and now is something clear.
The minute you see the spark in students' eyes when they see that the grammar is working perfect and they understand the meaning, that's really a joyous moment for me.
Once you know all the rules and everything, it's a beautiful language to read.
From intermediate through advanced studies, students really have a chance to direct their own courses. So based on their interests, we will design the syllabus and the readings. Some of the texts that intermediate and advanced students have read over the years include the Bhagavad Gita, the Yoga Sutras, folk tales, ghost stories, texts on philosophy, and at the advanced levels, we regularly offer readings in Buddhist texts, which is one of our specialties.
Generally, language classes here at the UW are small. We have anywhere from 5 to 15 students, and it's an intimate setting in which students get to learn and interact and ask questions.
Class size really made the instruction feel very personal.
I always believe that you cannot learn language in isolation. You always have to see it in application. I try to incorporate all these aspects of language learning, like speaking, listening, along with learning the grammar. Here at the UW, I also run a recitation club, and in that, anybody can participate who wants to get that exposure to Sanskrit language and learn something to recite.
I came to Sanskrit studies through religious studies, and actually came pretty late, not until deep into my graduate studies. And I had been reading Hindu and Buddhist texts for years in translation, and really wanted to know, underneath it all, what it actually meant in the original language. And I found out after studying Sanskrit, not only did Sanskrit provide a much clearer understanding of these texts than the English approximations, but that I also really loved the process of deciphering and translating original texts.
I inherited the language because I've been listening to this language being recited in many different forms from my grandparents and in my family. Then once I learned the foundation and its grammar and its system, this just opened a door for me to contemporary linguistics and syntax and semantics, and that's how I continued learning advanced Sanskrit and grammar, and I still do.
I speak a South Indian language, Kannada, so I thought maybe I could improve my pronunciation, at least some basic understanding of that language, and I speak some of it at home, so thought it would help my fluency.
I grew up with an Indian religion, and our religious texts are in Sanskrit, and so I was exposed to the language, although I never knew it. I just heard it.
It's a gateway into the rich cultural and historical and literary foundation of South Asia.
Sanskrit is one of the most ancient language of the world. I'm always, inclined to learn ancient languages. And if you know any ancient language, for example, Sanskrit or Pali or Prakrit, you can easily learn modern languages which are, derived from the Sanskrit, Pali, and Prakrit.
My parents have always brought in Sanskrit scriptures and sayings and words, throughout like my childhood and growing up, but I never really knew what they meant or what it was. And recently I took an interest in learning Vedas and other old Indian texts and scriptures, and I wanted to learn more about my religion and my culture. And I just thought that this was a great start for that journey. Being able to read scriptures in their original text and understanding the meaning is just a whole nother experience.
One of the things I enjoyed most from taking Sanskrit classes is that you don't just get the language. The discussions always included the cultural background and the history relating to the text under discussion.
I'm a Buddhist practitioner. It's helped me to learn a lot more about my religion.
There are also some technical aspects of the language that could be useful if you're learning something like, for example, computer science, because Sanskrit is highly mathematical and logical rule-governed language.
If you're interested in math or philosophy or logic, I think Sanskrit really hits a lot of those areas of the brain.
An excellent model for how language works at a fundamental level. I know far more about English than before I started studying Sanskrit.
And this is one of the most important goals of humanities courses at the University of Washington, to give students a chance to learn to communicate across differences, across time, and across space. Because of the nature of many of the texts that we read in the class, studying Sanskrit provides students with an opportunity for personal reflection and self-discovery, other things that I think are essential in humanities education, and every student should have an opportunity to do.
Learning Sanskrit here at the UW will open doors to multitude of disciplines, interests, and pursuits.
I've felt really lucky to have expert Sanskrit instruction in the Seattle area. It's not something that's easy to come by, and we have it right here.
Everybody should learn Sanskrit.
I would definitely recommend it. It's challenging, but it's fun.
If you want to take a language class and you are unsure of which one to take, just take Sanskrit. It's an amazing language. It's an amazing experience.
Agachantu anubhava maha sanskritanandam.